The Carolina Panthers might have just made the biggest robbery in recent NFL history. They traded for Cleveland Browns quarterback and former #1 overall pick Baker Mayfield for a conditional 5th round pick. And not only did they only trade for a 5th round pick, the Cleveland Browns are still paying for the majority of Baker Mayfield's contract. Now, Mayfield hasn't been as good as he was expected to be coming out of college, but he's still been a solid quarterback in the NFL. He led his Cleveland Browns team to the playoffs and won a playoff game for the first time in decades. And him going into Carolina could spark something in that city. He could be the best quarterback. In fact, he will be the best quarterback in there since Cam Newton. Now, this won't make the Carolina Panthers necessarily a playoff contending team this year, but for the future, he could lead this team to the playoffs, or him being a veteran could just help develop the quarterback who the Panthers drafted in this last draft, Matt Corral. So we'll have to see if the Panthers are planning to use Mayfield as their quarterback moving on into the future, or if he's just going to be like a mentor for Corral. No matter how Carolina uses Mayfield, and no matter how good or poorly he performs in Carolina, the Panthers only gave up a 5th round pick and are not paying this guy very much because the Browns are paying him so much dang money. I think that Baker Mayfield coming into Carolina will turn them from, in my eyes, a bottom 3 team coming into this year to now, I'd say, a team that will maybe finish around like 7-10, kind of similar to how I feel about like the Seahawks and like Saints and teams like that, where they won't be contending for like a playoff spot, but they won't be like contending for the 1st round pick and at like the very bottom of the league. This also really confuses me why the Browns decided this was a good idea for them to not only trade Mayfield for basically nothing, but also pay his contract. It just seems like they want him to get out of there, which doesn't make sense, because Deshaun Watson very well might not be playing a game this season. So that would mean a season of Jacoby Brissett now that Mayfield's gone. So I assumed that they were probably going to keep Mayfield and have him start until Deshaun Watson can play, but it seems Mayfield might have been holding out, deciding he didn't want to play for the Browns, but the Browns also weren't getting any offers for him whatsoever. Even if the Browns did trade Mayfield for just a conditional 5th, the really confusing part for me is the contract. I don't get it. Like, make the Panthers pay at least half of it. Like, they're paying like 3/4 of it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why the Browns decided to do this trade. My guess would be the Browns could have probably pretty easily gotten a 4th or maybe even a 3rd round pick from the Carolina Panthers for Mayfield because, again, he's not a bad quarterback. Mayfield gets way more hate than he deserves. Sure, he sometimes makes some poor decisions, but he's a pretty accurate, decent quarterback. He's not top 10, he's not bottom 10. He's right there in the middle. He's a solid option that now the Panthers will be able to turn to him. Now, in terms of the direction Mayfield's career is going in, I would imagine he could very well be becoming like a Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he's going to go into a ton of different teams every year and kind of just, like, pass the torch to other teams, like Tyrod Taylor has done. Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, I imagine he could be stepping into a role like that, going on a bunch of different teams, just giving them, like, a decent, around, like, 7-10, 8-9, maybe even 9-8 season. But they will never be, like, a bottom 5 team in the league with Mayfield on their team. And as Mayfield gets even older, more experience, because he's still pretty young, but as he gets even older, he will become a great mentor for any young quarterback, like a rookie. Like, he could become something like Jimmy Garoppolo was for Trey Lance this year. Like, I'm excited to see Trey Lance possibly be a star quarterback through getting to watch like Jimmy Garoppolo make a run through the NFC Championship and stuff. But I could see Mayfield doing that for like maybe Matt Corral, or Matt Corral might not be the guy, but they could get someone in this year's draft, because this year's draft has a stacked class for quarterbacks. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of this trade in the comment down below. Make sure to drop a like and to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.